But Max no longer feared them. The hunters had tested them, but human courage had prevailed. He realized that ordinary humans could rise to extraordinary challenges when driven by empathy, bravery, and ingenuity. Lyra's glow dimmed slightly, serene but powerful. The world may never know what happened tonight. But that does not matter. What matters is the courage that shone, and the bond that allowed it. Humans, your spirit is something even the universe cannot ignore. Max nodded, understanding fully. He had started this journey as an ordinary man, uncertain and cautious. But now he had faced unimaginable danger, learned to trust, and discovered the extraordinary power of human courage. The night was still, the city calm. Shadows lingered, but the fear was gone. Max and Lyra stood together, a human and an alien, bound by trust, courage, and purpose. They had faced the impossible and prevailed. And in that quiet moment, Max understood the ultimate truth. Human courage shines brightest when tested, when hearts are aligned, and when ordinary people rise to do the extraordinary. Together, they would face whatever came next, because human courage and the bond they shared was unstoppable. The morning after their first confrontation, the city felt oddly quiet. Max and Lyra sat on the small balcony of his apartment, overlooking streets that now seemed normal, almost peaceful. But they both knew it was an illusion. The hunters were still out there, observing, planning, waiting. Max sipped his coffee slowly, the taste bitter but grounding. "I can't stop thinking about last night," he admitted. "I've never faced anything like that before, but I didn't feel helpless. Not with you." Lyra's glow pulsed softly. "That is the bond forming, Max. Courage alone is not enough. Trust, understanding, and connection. Together, humans and my kind can achieve much more than alone." Max looked at her, curiosity and awe mingling with lingering fear. "I feel it too, like we're connected somehow. Like I can sense danger before it comes, and I can anticipate what you'll do." "How is that possible?" Lyra smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the rising sun. "Our energies are linked because of the deal. When humans and my kind trust each other, our abilities synchronize. We see patterns, understand threats, and can act as one. That is why I chose you, Max. You are capable of more than you realize." Max leaned back, absorbing her words. "So the courage isn't just mine. It's ours. Together we can face them." "Yes," Lyra said. "Together we are stronger and more. Human courage shines brightest when paired with trust and empathy. That is why you survived the first confrontation. That is why you will survive what comes next." A soft hum vibrated through the apartment again. Max's gaze snapped toward the window. "Hunters?" he whispered. Lyra shook her head. "Not yet, but we can sense disturbances. They are probing, testing patterns, watching for weaknesses. That is why we need the bond, fully. You must trust me and I must trust you. Only then can we act with precision." Max nodded, feeling a surge of determination. The adrenaline from last night had faded, but a deeper courage had taken its place, a quiet, steady confidence. He realized something important. Human bravery wasn't just about fighting. It was about understanding, adapting, and protecting. And it was most powerful when combined with trust. Lyra stepped closer. "Max, I must show you something. You need to see the truth of my abilities to understand the bond." Max watched as she raised her hands slowly. Light pulsed from her fingertips, swirling around them both. He felt it, not just energy, but a connection, a thread linking their senses. Images flashed in his mind. Patterns of movement, hidden threats in the city, energy flows he had never noticed before. "Can you see it?" Lyra asked softly. Max nodded, awe written across his face. "Yes, I can see what you see. I feel what you feel." "Good," she said. "This is the bond. When we act together, we are stronger than anything they can throw at us. But it requires understanding and trust, Max. You cannot hesitate. Fear slows us. Courage guides us." Max clenched his fists, determination surging. "I understand. I trust you, and I won't let you face them alone." Lyra's glow brightened, a soft warmth filling the small apartment. "And I will not let you face them alone either. That is the bond, the human courage, the trust, the heart. It shines brightest when shared." For hours, they trained in small ways. Lyra guided Max through subtle awareness exercises, noticing slight shifts in energy, detecting faint sounds beyond human hearing, and predicting movement before it happened. Max was clumsy at first, but gradually his instincts sharpened. He realized that his courage was now enhanced by knowledge, trust, and connection. As night fell, the city lights flickered to life. Max and Lyra stood at the apartment window, watching the streets below. Shadows moved in the distance, subtle and quiet, just as Lyra had warned. The hunters were near, observing, but now Max didn't feel helpless. He could anticipate, react, and protect. He had learned that courage was not just physical strength, it was foresight, strategy, and heart. "Are you ready?" Lyra asked softly, her glow steady. Max nodded. "I am." "We are ready, together," she smiled faintly. "Good, because soon, the hunters will make their move, and when they do, our bond will be tested like never before. But remember, human courage shines brightest in the darkest moments. That is why you were chosen." Max's chest tightened, a mix of fear and determination. He realized that he was no longer an ordinary human. He was a protector, a partner, someone capable of facing unimaginable threats. And with Lyra by his side, he felt unstoppable. The night deepened, quiet but tense. Max and Lyra stood side by side, their energies intertwined, their hearts synchronized. They were no longer just human and alien. They were a team. Courage, trust, and empathy had forged a bond that could face anything. And in that moment, Max understood the truth of what Lyra had said from the beginning. Human courage wasn't just about standing against fear. It was about shining together, guiding, protecting, and acting when it mattered most. As the city slept, danger lurked just beyond the shadows. But Max and Lyra were ready. Their bond was real. Their courage was shared. And when the hunters arrived, they would not face them alone. Together, human and alien stood, ready to meet whatever came next. Night had fully fallen, and the city streets were silent, almost eerily so. Max and Lyra stood at the apartment window, gazes fixed on the shadows moving below. The hunters were here, organized, relentless, and ready to strike. But Max no longer felt fear. The bond he shared with Lyra had sharpened his instincts, strengthened his courage, and prepared him for this moment. "They are close," Lyra whispered, her glow steady and protective. "This is it, the confrontation. Remember everything you have learned. Observe, predict, act. Trust yourself." "And trust me," Max nodded. "I'm ready." We faced them together. Below, figures emerged, gliding with silent precision. The hunters had brought their full force. Alien scouts, twice the size of humans, moved like shadows, energy flickering across their forms. Max's pulse quickened, not from fear but from anticipation. "Max," Lyra said, placing a hand gently on his shoulder. "Focus. Courage guides action. Strategy guides survival. Together, we are stronger than they know." Max took a deep breath, remembering every lesson Lyra had taught him. Awareness, pattern recognition, anticipation, and quick decision-making. He felt the device in his pocket, a reminder of the deal and the bond that connected them. The first scout lunged, energy blade flashing. Max didn't hesitate. He dodged swiftly, rolling to the side, then slammed a metal pipe against the ground, creating a shockwave that unbalanced the alien. Lyra surged forward, energy radiating in protective pulses that knocked two more scouts back without harm. Max's confidence grew. He realized that courage wasn't just fighting, it was understanding danger, anticipating moves, and acting decisively. Each step he took, each movement he made, disrupted the hunters' rhythm. They were skilled, but unprepared for human unpredictability, combined with alien power. The battle intensified. Shadows flickered against the walls, energy pulses cut through the air, and Max and Lyra moved with a synchronized precision. Max noticed a scout preparing an attack he hadn't anticipated. "Behind you!" he shouted. Lyra reacted instantly, deflecting the strike with a bright pulse. The hunter staggered, surprised by the human's awareness. Max struck again, using debris as improvised weapons, creating distractions, opening paths, and guiding Lyra to strike efficiently. "You're incredible," Lyra said, her glow pulsing with pride. "Human courage. It shines brighter than any fear." Max didn't smile. There was no time, but inside a deep sense of power filled him. He understood the truth. Courage was not just facing danger, it was acting with intelligence. Heart and determination, even when everything seemed impossible. The hunters regrouped, preparing a coordinated strike. Max felt the pulse of their energy, their synchronization. They were fast, strong, and ruthless. But Max had learned the bond, the connection, and the trust. Now Max, Lyra shouted. He acted instantly. Using the patterns he had observed, he disrupted the formation with a series of precise actions. Slamming a pipe to create vibrations, knocking over a trash can to block a scout, and guiding Lyra's energy pulses to strategically disable their movements. The hunters faltered. Human unpredictability, combined with Lyra's alien power, created a force they could not anticipate. One by one, the scouts retreated, realizing the fight was lost. Max's chest heaved, adrenaline coursing through him. Lyra approached, her glow softening. "You see," she said, "courage isn't just strength. It is awareness, action, heart. Humans, your kind is remarkable. And when combined with trust and connection, unstoppable." Max nodded, finally allowing himself to feel pride. "We did it, together." Lyra smiled faintly. "Yes, together. But remember, courage shines brightest in the darkest moments. That is why you survived, why you acted, and why we are still here. You, human, have made the impossible possible." Max looked out over the city. The hunters now vanished into the shadows. He realized something profound. Human courage wasn't just personal. It was about standing for others, protecting the vulnerable, and acting when others might freeze. It was about using mind, heart, and instincts to face the unimaginable. Lyra's hand rested on his shoulder, a silent acknowledgement of trust and partnership. "Max," she whispered, "at this bond, our courage, it will guide the future. You have proven that humans can face the impossible and win." Max felt a surge of determination. "Then we keep going. We face whatever comes next, together." The city lights flickered, casting long shadows. Confrontation comes soon. Max's heart pounded, but he felt a surge of confidence. He had faced fear before, but now, with understanding and trust, he felt capable. He could anticipate, act, and protect. Human courage, combined with Lyra's alien abilities, could overcome even the most relentless foe. Hours passed. Max practiced alertness, learning to notice subtle patterns in the shadows, the faint energy flows that Lyra could sense. He realized that survival wasn't about avoiding danger. It was about understanding it, predicting it, and responding with courage and cleverness. Finally, Lyra leaned back, her glow calming. "You have learned well today. Knowledge of the threat, understanding of danger, human courage. All of it matters. But remember, the hidden truths are only the beginning. The hunters will act soon, and when they do, we must be ready." Max nodded, his resolve firm. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but it didn't crush him. He had chosen to act, to protect, to stand beside Lyra. And in that choice, he had discovered a truth about himself. Courage was not about strength, it was about action, heart, and loyalty. As night fell, the city seemed alive with quiet menace. Shadows shifted, lights flickered, and the hunters lurked unseen. Max and Lyra stayed vigilant side by side, prepared for whatever came next. The hidden truths were revealed, but even greater challenges lay ahead. And Max knew one thing with certainty: human courage would shine brighter than fear, stronger than any enemy, and capable of facing the impossible. The night was darker than usual, the city streets empty except for the faint hum of distant cars. Max and Lyra crouched behind a low wall near the edge of the alley, eyes scanning every shadow. Their first confrontation with the hunters was about to begin. "They are close," Lyra whispered, her glow pulsing faintly. "Scouts, they test us before the main force arrives. Stay sharp, Max." Max nodded, gripping a metal pipe he had picked up from a nearby construction site. His heart raced, but his mind was focused. This was no longer a drill. This was real. Danger had arrived. From the darkness, two shadowy figures emerged, moving silently along the alley walls. Their forms flickered slightly, alien energy shimmering faintly over their bodies. Max could feel the pulse of their presence, the subtle vibration in the air, a warning Lyra had taught him to notice. "They sense us," Lyra murmured. "Do not move suddenly. Wait for the right moment." Max's muscles tensed. Every instinct screamed to run or strike, but he trusted her. He had learned to observe patterns, to notice the small details, the way the scouts paused, how their energy fluctuated when they were alert. The first scout stepped closer, scanning the area with glowing eyes. Max's pulse pounded in his ears. The alien noticed nothing yet, but he knew they were testing. Lyra's glow brightened slightly, a signal of encouragement. "Now," she whispered. Max stepped forward, swinging the metal pipe to hit a trash can. The loud crash echoed through the alley. Both scouts froze, their attention drawn to the noise. Lyra moved swiftly, energy pulsing from her hands, forming a barrier that deflected one scout's attempted strike. Sparks flew as alien energy clashed with her protective shield. Max rolled forward, knocking over a crate to block the other scout's path. The scouts hissed, their forms flickering with frustration. They had underestimated the humans' quick thinking. Max realized something important. Courage and cleverness could be as powerful as brute strength. One scout lunged at Lyra, energy blade drawn. Max didn't hesitate. He slammed the metal pipe against the ground, creating a shockwave that unbalanced the alien. Lyra seized the moment, sending a controlled energy pulse that knocked the scout back safely. Max panted, adrenaline surging. "Are they done?" he asked, gripping his makeshift weapon tightly. Lyra shook her head. "No, this was a test. The main force will arrive soon. But you passed the first part. Human intuition is stronger than they expected." Another shadow flickered at the alley entrance. Max and Lyra turned to see 3 more scouts emerging, moving with precise coordination. Their energy pulses synchronized, forming an almost hypnotic rhythm. Max realized they were analyzing patterns, learning their moves. "Focus," Lyra whispered. "Do not panic. Watch, act, predict." Max's mind worked quickly. He noticed their timing, their rhythm. He whispered to Lyra, "We need to disrupt their pattern. Break their rhythm," she nodded, understanding immediately. Together they moved as one. Max created loud distractions, throwing debris and slamming metal objects, while Lyra used her energy to block and push, carefully controlling her power. The scouts became confused, struggling to adapt to the unpredictable human tactics. A sudden attack from the largest scout caught Max off guard. The alien lunged with incredible speed, energy blade swinging toward him. Max ducked just in time, rolling to the side. He grabbed a discarded pipe and struck the scout's legs, making it stumble. Lyra followed, using a pulse to send the scout flying backward safely but decisively. "Good," Lyra whispered. "You're learning fast. Human courage is remarkable." Max's heart pounded, but he felt a growing confidence. He realized that being human wasn't a weakness. Bravery, creativity, and quick thinking could overcome even the most advanced opponents. And with Lyra's guidance, he could survive anything. The remaining scouts hesitated, sensing the combined force of human determination and alien power. They had underestimated their opponents. Max and Lyra seized the moment, moving with precision, blocking, striking, and anticipating every attack. Finally, the scouts retreated, disappearing into the shadows. The alley fell silent once more, but the tension remained. Max's chest heaved with adrenaline, but he couldn't help smiling. They had survived the first confrontation. Lyra's glow softened, almost like a sigh of relief. "You see, Max, courage is not about fearlessness. It is about standing and acting when danger comes. Humans, you are capable of great things," Max nodded, still gripping the metal pipe. "I feel it now. I can do this. We can do this." "Good," Lyra said. "But remember, this was only the beginning. The hunters will return stronger, more prepared. Next time, it will be even more dangerous. But together, we can face them." Max looked at her, understanding the gravity of the situation. He had entered this world as an ordinary human, but now he stood ready to protect, fight, and survive. Courage, trust, and clever thinking, these were his weapons. The night stretched on, and the city remained quiet, but Max knew better. Danger lurked in the shadows, watching, waiting. The first confrontation had been survived, but the war was only beginning, and he had a choice to run or to fight. Max clenched his fists, determination burning in his chest. "We fight," he said softly, looking at Lyra. Together, she agreed, her glow steady and strong, and in that moment, Max realized something profound. Human courage, when combined with trust, intelligence, and heart, could shine even in the darkest night. Soon, Max nodded slowly. He realized something crucial. Being human didn't mean being powerless. Courage, intelligence, and awareness were weapons as sharp as any alien power. And if he and Lyra combined their strengths, they could face whatever was coming. As night deepened, the city seemed alive with quiet menace. Max and Lyra stayed alert, silent, and connected, preparing, learning, and trusting each other. The silent warning had come, and they had heeded it. The first step was understanding the threat. The next step, surviving it. The next evening, Max sat in his small apartment trying to calm his racing thoughts. The deal he had agreed to with Lyra was still sinking in. He wasn't sure if he had made the right choice. Alien powers, danger from unknown hunters, and a life he could never return to. It all felt overwhelming. Lyra stood by the window, her soft glow pulsing as she observed the streets below. "They are near," she said quietly, as if speaking to herself. "Hunters know we are involved. You will notice them soon." Max's eyes widened. "Already? They can track us?" She shook her head. "Not exactly. They sense energy, presence. You carry that now too because of the deal. It links us. That is why caution is crucial." Max glanced at her, realizing the gravity of the situation. By agreeing to the deal, he had not only accepted danger but had become part of it. Every movement, every action could be observed. Every misstep could be deadly. Suddenly, a sharp chime from the building entrance echoed through the apartment. Max stiffened. "Already?" Lyra's glow intensified. "Not them yet. Someone else. Watch carefully." Max moved to the door, peeking through the peephole. A delivery robot carrying a small, sleek package stood waiting. It had no labels, no name, just a faint, almost imperceptible symbol that Max didn't recognize. He opened the door cautiously and grabbed the package. Lyra's eyes followed every movement. "Do not open it yet," she warned. "It may contain tracking devices, or worse." Max hesitated, but curiosity won over caution. He carefully unwrapped the package. Inside lay a small glowing device humming softly. A note was attached, written in symbols Max didn't understand, but the message was clear in Lyra's translation. "Use this wisely. Misuse it, and there will be consequences." Max held the device in his hands, feeling its energy pulse. The warmth was strange, almost alive. Lyra leaned closer. "This is the consequence of our deal. You now have the chance to access knowledge, to see beyond what humans can. But the moment you use it, others will know. They will come." Max swallowed. He realized that the deal was not just an agreement, it was a binding connection. His choices now carried weight far beyond his imagination. Suddenly, the apartment lights flickered. Max froze. Shadows moved unnaturally across the walls, as if stretching toward them. Lyra's glow flared, protective and strong. "They are here," she whispered, her voice calm but urgent. "Hunters testing, observing, not for attack." Yet but soon, Max's heart pounded. He looked around for anything he could use as defense, but the apartment was small, cluttered, and unprepared. He glanced at Lyra, who remained calm, her energy pulsing rhythmically, as if she could feel the approaching danger before it arrived. A soft vibration shook the floor. Max turned to see shadows moving outside the window, figures gliding silently along the walls. He realized then that danger was not always loud or obvious. It could be quiet, patient, deadly. "Max," Lyra said softly, "do not panic. Use the device. Carefully, see what it reveals." Max hesitated. Fear gripped him, but he remembered Lyra's words about human courage. Taking a deep breath, he activated the device. A surge of light filled the apartment, and suddenly, Max could see patterns, energy flows, hidden paths, and the presence of beings moving outside. The hunters weren't far. They were scouting, testing boundaries, probing weaknesses. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, almost matching the device. "Good, you are learning. Now you understand the consequence. Knowledge brings power, but also responsibility." Max's mind raced. He realized that every action he took now had implications, not just for himself, but for Lyra, for everyone around them. He could anticipate danger, see threats, and make choices that could save lives. But each use of the device also signaled his presence to those who hunted Lyra. A sudden noise at the door made him jump. Max glanced at Lyra. "They're closer than I thought," he whispered. She nodded. "Yes, and they know we are awake, aware. That is the consequence of using the device. They will come soon, stronger, faster, more prepared. But you are ready. Humans can adapt. That is why I chose you." Max realized something important. Courage wasn't just standing and fighting, it was understanding danger, anticipating threats, and acting wisely. He had gained a tool that could make him nearly unstoppable, but only if he stayed alert, smart, and brave. As the night deepened, shadows moved outside, testing, observing. Max and Lyra stayed close, silent, connected. They had survived the first wave of curiosity from the hunters, but the real challenge was only beginning. The deal's consequence was clear. Power and knowledge came at a cost, and every choice would matter. Max looked at Lyra. "We face this together." "Together," she said, her glow steady and unwavering. For the first time, Max felt a surge of confidence. The deal had changed everything, his life, his understanding, his world. Danger was near, yes, but human courage, combined with trust and cleverness, could overcome almost anything. And as the city slept around them, Max realized one undeniable truth. The deal was not just a risk, it was a chance to shine, to act, and to prove that humans could face the impossible and survive. The apartment was quiet, but Max couldn't shake the feeling of tension in the air. Lyra sat on the couch, her glow dim but steady, as if reflecting the weight of the secrets she carried. Max leaned against the table, unsure of what to say. He had questions, many questions, but he sensed that tonight he would learn the truth. "Max," Lyra began softly, "you need to understand who I am, why I am here, and why danger follows me." Max nodded, leaning forward. "I'm listening." Lyra's eyes flickered with light. "I am not from this world. My home, my people. We are different. We have lived peacefully for centuries, studying, exploring, protecting knowledge. But one day, everything changed." She paused, her gaze distant. "There was war, betrayal. Those who wanted power hunted us. I lost everything. My family, my friends, all gone. I survived, but I became alone. And they followed me here to Earth." Max felt a chill. The loneliness in her voice was heavy, almost suffocating. "They hunted you? On Earth?" "Yes," she said quietly. "They seek me because I know things. Secrets that could change everything. Knowledge, energy, abilities. They fear what I can do. And humans, they could be endangered if I fall into their hands." Max's mind raced. This wasn't just an alien on his doorstep. It was someone with a past filled with danger, betrayal, and unimaginable power. Yet her trust in him, that mattered. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down. "Why me?" Max asked again. "Why trust me?" Lyra's eyes softened, her glow pulsing faintly. "Humans are different. You have courage. You can think, adapt, and act. You choose to do what is right, even when it is dangerous. I watched you. Before I came here, I knew you were the one who could help." Max swallowed hard. "I'm just a normal person. I don't know if I'm ready for this." She tilted her head, studying him carefully. "Courage is not about being ready. It is about acting anyway. That is why I came to you. And now, the hunters are closer. They have noticed the connection. Soon they will act. You must be prepared." Max nodded, determination rising. Fear still lingered, but he realized that courage wasn't the absence of fear. It was moving forward despite it. Lyra continued. "There are things you should know about them. They are organized, clever, and relentless. They study patterns. They anticipate reactions. Most humans could not survive a direct encounter. But together, we might stand a chance," Max frowned. "So we fight smart, not just strong?" "Yes," Lyra said. "Strength alone is not enough. Strategy, awareness, trust, courage. Those are our weapons, and you have all of them, even if you do not realize it yet." A soft hum vibrated through the apartment. Max glanced at the window. Shadows moved outside, figures lingering just beyond the streetlights. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They are here," she whispered. Hunters, scouts, they test, they observe. They want to see if I am protected. They are learning about you, about us. Max's pulse quickened. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing down. Every choice he made now could change the outcome, not just for himself, but for Lyra, and perhaps even for the city around them. I understand, he said finally, his voice steady. We prepare, we learn, and we fight, smart, together. Lyra's glow brightened slightly, a small sign of approval. Good, you are learning. That is why humans are special. Courage, adaptability, heart. Even in the face of unimaginable danger, you can act where others hesitate. That is what makes you capable of surviving this. Max looked at her, realizing the truth in her words. Human courage wasn't about weapons or technology. It was about the ability to act, to think, and to protect. It was about empathy, strategy, and the refusal to give up. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the moment. A window rattled, and Max turned to see shadows flickering across the walls. Lyra's glow flared, protective and sharp. They test us, she said calmly. Not to attack, yet, but to see our reactions, to learn our strengths and weaknesses. The night was quiet. The street empty except for the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Max had just settled on his couch, a cup of tea warming his hands, when a sudden knock echoed through the door. It was sharp, unexpected, and for a moment he froze. Who could it be at this hour? He muttered, setting down the cup. He approached the door cautiously and peered through the peephole. On the other side stood a figure unlike anyone he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly under the dim streetlight, a soft, iridescent glow that made her look almost unreal. Her hair, long and silver, flowed gently despite the still air, and her eyes. Max couldn't describe them. They were a deep, mesmerizing color, almost alive with emotion. He hesitated for a moment. The figure raised a hand in a gentle gesture, as if asking for permission. Please, may I come in? A soft, melodic voice whispered. Max blinked. There was something about her voice that made his chest tighten, not fear but curiosity, a strange sense of urgency. He slowly unlocked the door and opened it. Good evening, she said, her tone polite but carrying a weight of sorrow. I hope I'm not disturbing you. Max swallowed, searching for words. Who are you? The woman stepped inside cautiously, her gaze scanning the small apartment. I am someone who needs help. My name is Lyra. Max frowned slightly. Help? With what? She took a deep breath, her eyes glancing toward the window as if she expected someone or something outside. I am alone, and I have an offer for you. An offer you might not understand, but you cannot refuse. Max raised an eyebrow, unsure whether to be intrigued or alarmed. An offer I cannot refuse? That's a little dramatic, don't you think? Lyra's lips curved faintly in a sad smile. Perhaps, but it is true. I have something to give you, something that can change everything you know. But it comes with danger, risk, and responsibility. Max took a step back, suddenly aware of the stillness in the room. It felt heavy, charged with an energy he couldn't see but could feel. Something about her presence was more than human. He could sense it. Why me? He asked, his voice steady despite the unease in his chest. Because, she said slowly, you have a heart that can understand, a courage that most do not. I have watched you from afar. You are different, and I need someone like you. Max's mind raced. This was insane. An alien, a stranger, offering something unknown and dangerous. Yet there was an honesty in her eyes, a vulnerability that made him pause. Sit, he said finally, gesturing toward the small couch. Lyra moved gracefully, almost gliding, and sat down carefully. The glow around her dimmed slightly, but the air still seemed alive with tension. I will explain, she began, her voice soft but urgent. I am not from this world. My people, my home, is far away. I am the last of my kind here, hunted and in danger. I came to your neighborhood to hide, and to find someone I can trust. You, she paused, her gaze meeting his, are that person. Max's heart pounded. Alien, last of her kind. Hunted? His rational mind screamed to say no, to call the authorities, to run. But something inside him, curiosity, compassion, or maybe instinct, kept him rooted to the spot. You want me to help you? He asked slowly, his voice almost a whisper. Lyra nodded. Yes, but not just help. I offer you knowledge, abilities, things humans cannot imagine. But in return, you must protect me. Trust me and decide wisely, for the choice will change your life forever. Max looked around the small apartment, his mind a whirlwind. Part of him wanted to say no, to close the door and forget this strange encounter. But another part, an adventurous, brave part, pushed him forward. What exactly are we talking about? He asked cautiously. Lyra leaned forward slightly, her eyes glowing faintly. I can give you a chance to see the universe as it truly is. The power to face threats that humans cannot even comprehend. But danger follows me. Others, they want me back, and they do not care who gets hurt. Max felt a chill run down his spine. Danger, unknown forces, and yet excitement mingled with fear. This was unlike anything he had ever experienced. A chance to stand for something bigger, to protect someone who could change his life forever. He took a deep breath, glancing at her glowing, haunted eyes. All right, he said finally. I'll hear you out. Tell me everything. But know this, I don't back down easily. Lyra's faint smile widened just a little. Good, that is why I came to you. Together, we can face what is coming. But be warned, once you agree, there is no turning back. Max swallowed, feeling the weight of the moment. He had just opened the door to a stranger. But tonight, he had also opened the door to something extraordinary and terrifying. The night outside seemed darker now, heavier, as if the universe itself held its breath. Max had no idea what awaited him. But one thing was certain, his life was about to change forever. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Max's small apartment window, but he barely noticed it. Sleep had eluded him all night, his mind replaying Lyra's glowing eyes, her strange offer, and the eerie weight of her words. He made himself a cup of coffee, but it sat untouched as he stared at the door, half expecting someone or something to be waiting outside. A soft chime at the doorbell jolted him from his thoughts. Hesitant, he walked over and peeked through the peephole. Lyra stood there, calm but cautious, her faint glow flickering in the morning light. "Good morning," she said softly as he opened the door. "I hope I'm not disturbing you again." Max stepped aside to let her in. "Not at all. But I need to know something." "Why me? Why not someone else?" She walked into the living room and sat carefully on the couch. "Because you are human, and because humans have something no one else does. Courage mixed with ingenuity. I need that. I cannot face what is coming alone." Max frowned. "Coming, you mean danger?" Lyra nodded, her gaze distant, almost as if she was seeing something invisible. "Yes, they are near. Others, hunters. I felt them last night. Observing, waiting. You may not see them, but they are close." Max's heart raced. "Hunters? What are you talking about? Are you saying someone or something is following you?" She sighed, her shoulders sagging slightly. "Not something, many. Stronger than humans, smarter. They want me returned or destroyed. And you, if you are involved, may be in danger too." Max swallowed hard. The idea of danger wasn't new to him. He had faced small threats before, but this felt beyond comprehension. Alien hunters, powerful forces, shadows moving unseen. Yet something inside him refused to back down. "Then what do we do?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Hide, call someone." Lyra shook her head slowly. "No, hiding only lasts so long. And humans, they do not understand. Authorities may make it worse. We need strategy, awareness, silent warning. You must learn to see what I see, feel what I feel." Max frowned. "Feel what you feel? I don't understand." Lyra's glowing eyes softened. "Humans are brave, but unaware. Most do not notice danger until it is too late. You must notice early, sense patterns, and react. Tonight I will teach you. But first, you must observe quietly, watch, listen." Max nodded, unsure if he was ready but trusting her. There was something about Lyra, her calm, measured way, her quiet confidence, that made him feel capable, even when faced with the unknown. The day passed slowly. Max went about his routine, but every noise, every shadow made him tense. He felt eyes on them even though no one was there. He noticed things he hadn't before. The neighbor who always glanced at Lyra strangely. The streetlights that flickered in odd patterns. The cars that passed too slowly. Even in his small apartment, Max felt a quiet shift. Objects seemed slightly out of place. A soft humming filled the air for moments he couldn't explain. Lyra moved gracefully, but her senses were alert. Every few minutes, she would pause, glance toward the window, or tilt her head as if listening to something Max couldn't perceive. "I see why you said silent warning," Max whispered finally. "You notice things I don't even realize exist," Lyra nodded. "Humans can learn, but you must focus. Trust instincts. Danger comes. Silently, always." As evening fell, the city lights flickered to life. Max and Lyra sat together on the small balcony, watching the streets below. The quiet hum returned, stronger now, and Max noticed shadows moving in the distance, figures just beyond the edge of the streetlights. He tensed, heart pounding. "They are near," Lyra whispered. "Hunters, scouts, testing, observing. They know we are aware now." Max swallowed. "What do we do?" Lyra's gaze hardened. "We prepare. Tonight, we will practice awareness. You will see, you will listen, you will react. Danger is coming, and you must be ready. The world you know is changing." Max felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He realized that being human didn't mean weakness. Courage, quick thinking, and determination could change outcomes, and Lyra, she was showing him the way, guiding him to see what most humans couldn't. Hours passed, and Max's senses sharpened under Lyra's guidance. He noticed tiny details, the faint shimmer of a window reflection, the soft vibration through the floor, the rhythm of footsteps that didn't match any passerby. Slowly he began to understand. Danger wasn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it was silent, waiting, observing. A sudden flicker of movement caught their eyes. Across the street, a figure lingered too long by a lamppost, scanning the area. Max tensed. "That's them?" he whispered. Lyra's glow pulsed. "Yes, scout, not here to attack. Yet, testing, watching reactions. We have been noticed. That is why preparation matters. The real challenge comes